So Kanye published this apology in the New York Times addressing his harm against the Jewish community and the Black community. First of all, I want to dig into a clear issue I have with this. The harm, the attacks, the statements that Kanye West made towards the Jewish community, you can look at those specific instances and you can look at the time span they happened in. And I think you can establish a consolidated apology to that community and figure out what needs to happen for harm to take place. To consolidate that conversation with the harm that he's engaged in when it comes to Black people is insincere. And whether he was in an episode or whether he was at his best of health is some bullshit. Because from his conception of life to the life that he gets to exist in, it's come from Black people. Kanye West was not positioned to power in pop culture, in media, because of Jewish people. It was because of Black people. Kanye West was not made to be a voice of Black culture. So when he engaged in these actions, regardless of his mental health state, they had a deep impact because one of our representatives was putting swastikas on T-shirts with Ray J and Candace Owens. That wasn't due to his position in Jewish culture. It was due to his position and power and influence and reverence within the Black community. Kanye West is not a part of radicalizing or impacting the way that young Jewish boys are seeing the world and on this alt pipeline. But he is doing that and has done that for Black young men all over this world. He's the father of a Black daughter. He's the father of Black sons. He has a school with his Black mama's name on it to serve Black children. The apex, the nexus of your harm and impact is in Blackness, Kanye. It should not have been rolled into this conversation within the Jewish community. Secondly, niggas ain't reading the New York Times. You can go to the New York Times to show your ass. Don't go there to address how you've shown your ass. Cool. Lovely. Next, let's talk about mental health and let's talk about accountability and let's talk about access and privilege. And let's talk about the ways that many of us have historically navigated people who are navigating any mental health issues and barriers and neurodivergency and things of that nature. Right now, somebody watching this, you got a cousin that when they show up to the family reunion, they show up at your big mama's house, he cuts up. And he been cutting up his whole life. His mama ain't ever went to get him any evaluation. She just said he was spirited, right? But that cousin does something you don't like. You don't talk to them for a decade. You won't let them come around. This cousin has no insurance. They don't have any real privilege and access. They may be a man, so there's privilege there within manhood. But outside of that, it's nothing really there. And they've been locked up in and out their life. You won't send them a motherfucking letter. You have shared that. You have shared that post from Kanye, and you have found it in your heart to figure out how to hold space for him. And I want to say that you can look at the barriers that people experience and engage in accountability. I dare say that one of the most powerful ways you can respect people through their journeys and through the ebbs and flows of what we navigate as human beings is to add in and never fall back from the ability for them to be accountable and culpable for their actions and their voice and their choices based on the amount of privilege they have and access they have in the things they experience, even when they are marginalized experience, i.e. Kanye West is not a Black man undiagnosed walking the streets of Chicago panhandling to make it. He is a multi-millionaire who had a diagnosis, that had a mother who was there to support him. He knew what was going on. He had a wife. He had a mother-in-law. It was filmed on TV, music videos. He's had people in the industry. The most random of nigga on Twitter done said something to him. And he said, fuck it. He got white women walking around like a old dusty ass Barbie in the backyard, hair just all over the place with a tattered t-shirt. That's what he been doing for 5 years. That's what he been doing. He has the financial access. He had the access to people who cared about him. You don't think it was the Kardashians? Fine. That was not the core. That's not all that man had around him. He curated yes people. He curated white supremacy around him. Of course you didn't feel cared for. You steeped yourself in the same system that wanted to end you. The same system that you spoke about when you stood there next to on that the hurricane relief on that episode, and you looked and you called out motherfucking George Bush. The same spirit that had you trot your ass up there and get up there with Taylor Swift and buoy that bitch to the top of people giving a fuck about somebody. That same nigga is in there. What are you talking about? You're acting like this is just some shit that you didn't know about and you just walking around trying to make it. No, baby, that's not the case. I am glad that you are acknowledging that in these times when you are having these in these manic moments that you are engaging in a way that is not congruent to who you want to be. And you have the amount of power and privilege and access to address it now. But that power and privilege and access that can address the barriers you experience with your mental health and your health care should not be the same magic tool that you get to dismiss the harm that you've done. This isn't a one-time situation. This is years and years and years and years. It is a gift to be seen as a representative of your community. It's a gift, a representative in the way where when you say something, people listen. Is it fucked up that Black folks and trans folks and marginalized groups that they end up creating talking heads? Absolutely. But that's just what it is. So when you get to be one, as someone who is one, it is a responsibility. There is work. There's something to it. Bitch, I've been barely holding on for a year and a half, bitch. And if I got out here and I showed my ass, I would have to figure out how to acknowledge what I was going through and how that may have made me show up as a version of myself that, again, doesn't reflect the best version of myself, which is who I want to give my people more times than not. And I got to hold that. Okay, you made the apology. Tell us how you're going to hold that.